The Silent Watch's commander, Sarah Chen, pressed her palm against the cold metal of the observation deck window, watching the stars that had once seemed so welcoming. Beyond the edge of their solar system, a sight that had haunted her dreams for 3 months now remained unchanged. The Zephyrian fleet hung in space like ancient sentinels, their massive ships glowing with the soft blue light that marked their advanced technology. The Zephyrians were legends in the galaxy. They had been traveling between stars when most species were still learning to make fire. Their empire stretched across thousands of worlds, their wisdom sought by civilizations across the cosmos. They had welcomed humanity into the Galactic community with open arms, sharing technology and knowledge freely. They had been friends, allies, teachers, but now they watched Earth from a distance, and they would not speak. Sarah turned from the window as her communications officer, Lieutenant Torres, approached with the same grim expression he had worn for weeks. "Any response to our latest transmission?" she asked, though she already knew the answer. "Nothing, Commander. We've sent diplomatic messages, scientific inquiries, even personal appeals from the ambassadors who worked with them before." Complete silence. Torres ran a hand through his dark hair. "It's like they're afraid of us." The thought chilled Sarah more than she cared to admit. The Zephyrians feared nothing. They had faced down cosmic storms that could tear apart planets, negotiated peace between species that had been at war for millennia, and explored the deepest mysteries of space. What could possibly make them afraid of humanity? Dr. Marcus Webb emerged from the research lab, his usually neat appearance disheveled from days of intense work. As the Earth Defense Coalition's chief xenochoreologist, he had been tasked with finding answers in the ancient records. His findings had been disturbing. "Commander, I need to show you something," he said, holding up a data tablet. "I've been analyzing the Zephyrian archives we recovered from the research station on Titan 7. There are references to Earth that go back thousands of years, long before humanity developed space travel." Sarah took the tablet, scanning the translated text. The words were formal, written in the ceremonial language the Zephyrians used for their most important documents. But certain phrases stood out, sending a chill down her spine. "The sleeping giant," she read aloud. "The world that dreams in silence. The cradle of the one who must not wake." She looked up at Webb. "What does this mean?" Webb's face was pale. "I'm not entirely sure, but there are similar references in the archives of 3 other ancient species. They all describe Earth as a forbidden world, a place where something vast and terrible sleeps. The Zephyrians have been watching our solar system for millennia, Commander. They've been standing guard." "Standing guard against what?" Sarah asked. Before Webb could answer, the ship's alert system activated. The familiar voice of the bridge officer filled the corridors. "Commander Chen to the bridge immediately. We have an incoming transmission from the Zephyrian fleet." Sarah's heart raced as she made her way to the bridge. After 3 months of silence, the Zephyrians were finally reaching out. She settled into her command chair, trying to project calm confidence despite the storm of emotions in her chest. The main screen flickered to life, showing the stern face of High Admiral Zethkar, the Zephyrian fleet commander. His crystalline features were set in an expression of deep concern, and his normally bright golden eyes seemed dim with worry. "Commander Chen," his voice carried the weight of centuries. "We regret that we have maintained silence for so long. But circumstances have changed. The dreamer stirs." Sarah felt a chill run through the bridge. "Admiral, we don't understand. What dreamer? Why won't your people enter our space?" We've been allies for decades. Zethkar's expression grew even more grave. Commander, your species has grown powerful. Very quickly. Your expansion into space, your technology, your very presence in the galaxy, ... It has begun to disturb something that has slept for eons. We cannot risk coming closer to your world until we know it is safe. Safe from what? Sarah pressed. Admiral, we need answers. Our people are starting to panic. There are riots in some cities, and our government is considering military action. The Zephyrian leader's eyes flashed with something that might have been fear. Commander, military. Action would be catastrophic. You must understand, Earth is not just your homeworld. It is a prison, a seal, a sacred trust that has been maintained for millions of years. Beneath your world lies something that must never be allowed to wake. The transmission cut out, leaving the bridge in stunned silence. Sarah stared at the blank screen, her mind racing. A prison, a seal. What could be so dangerous that the galaxy's most advanced species would maintain a vigil for millions of years? Dr. Webb stepped forward. Commander, if the Zephyrians are telling the truth, then we need to know what we're dealing with. I recommend we expand our archaeological surveys, particularly in areas with unusual seismic activity. Sarah nodded, though every instinct told her they were about to uncover something they might wish they had left buried. Do it, and Webb, work fast. I have a feeling we're running out of time. Over the following days, teams of scientists and archaeologists spread across Earth, using advanced scanning equipment to probe beneath the planet's surface. They found anomalies everywhere. Structures that didn't match any known geological formation. Energy signatures that defied explanation. But it was the team working in Antarctica that made the discovery that changed everything. Dr. Elena Vasquez, a geologist with 20 years of experience, called Sarah with excitement and terror in her voice. Commander, you need to see this. We've found something beneath the ice, something massive. It's not natural, and it's not from any human civilization. The energy readings are off the charts. Sarah took the first transport to Antarctica, arriving at the research site as the sun hung low on the horizon. The drilling equipment had broken through into a vast underground chamber, and the team had lowered cameras to explore what lay beneath. The images on the monitors defied comprehension. Walls of what appeared to be living crystal stretched into the darkness, pulsing with a soft, rhythmic light. Symbols covered every surface, symbols that seemed to shift and change when viewed directly, and at the center of it all, something vast and indescribable rested in what could only be described as sleep. How big is it? Sarah asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Dr. Vasquez checked her readings. The chamber extends 4 kilometers in every direction. And Commander, this isn't the only site. We're finding similar structures beneath major cities. Around the world, it's like the entire planet is built on top of this thing. Sarah felt the weight of understanding settling on her shoulders. Earth wasn't just humanity's homeworld. It was a tomb, a prison built around something so dangerous that entire civilizations had dedicated themselves to keeping it contained, as if responding to her thoughts. The crystalline walls in the chamber began to pulse faster. The symbols flowed, like liquid light, and for a moment, Sarah could have sworn she heard something vast and ancient stirring in the depths below. Back on the orbital station, the Zephyrian fleet moved for the first time in months. Their ships arranged themselves in a perfect circle around Earth's solar system. Their weapons powered, but not aimed at any human target. They were preparing for something, but whether to protect humanity or to protect the galaxy from humanity, remained to be seen. Dr. Webb burst into the command center, his face flushed with excitement and terror. "Commander, I've been analyzing the symbols from the Antarctic site. They're not just decorative. They're a warning, a message left by whoever built this place." Sarah turned to him, dreading what she was about to hear. "What do they say?" Webb's voice shook as he read from his translation. "Here lies the dreamer of worlds, the one who shapes reality with thought alone, sealed by the covenant of 13 species, guarded by the faithful, watched by the wise. Should the dreamer wake, the universe itself will bend to its will. Here ends the age of matter. Here begins the age of mind." The implications hit Sarah like a physical blow. Humanity had been building their civilization on top of a cosmic entity so powerful it could reshape reality itself, and now their very presence on Earth was causing it to stir. As if summoned by her thoughts, Admiral Zethkar appeared on the main screen again. His expression was grave, but there was something else there now. Respect, perhaps even hope. "Commander Chen, sensors indicate that the dreamer's sleep grows lighter with each passing day. We believe your species' psychic resonance is the cause. You must understand, humanity is not like other species. Your minds touch the quantum field in ways that most beings cannot. You are natural dreamers, and your presence calls to the one who sleeps below." Sarah felt the weight of cosmic responsibility settling on her shoulders. "What do you want us to do, Admiral? Leave Earth? Abandon our homeworld?" "No, Commander. We want you to make a choice. The choice that every guardian species must make. Will you accept the responsibility of keeping the dreamer asleep, or will you risk everything by allowing it to wake?" The screen went dark, leaving Sarah alone with the most important decision in human history. Around her, the stars continued their eternal dance, unaware that the fate of reality itself hung in the balance. Asterisk. The awakening truth. The next 72 hours passed in a blur of emergency sessions, scientific conferences, and desperate attempts to understand the true nature of what lay beneath Earth. Sarah found herself at the center of a storm of activity. As world leaders, scientists, and military commanders all demanded answers she didn't have. Dr. Webb had established a research post directly above the Antarctic site, using every scanner and sensor available to monitor the entity below. His reports grew more concerning with each passing hour. The crystalline structures were showing increased activity, and the energy readings suggested something vast was beginning to stir. "Commander, you need to see this," Webb called from his monitoring station. On the screen, a three-dimensional map of Earth showed glowing nodes scattered across the planet's surface. "We've identified over 200 sites where these crystal structures exist. They're all connected, forming a network that spans the entire globe." Sarah studied the map, noting how the nodes were positioned beneath major population centers. "It's almost like it's been feeding off us," she murmured. "Our thoughts, our dreams, our collective unconscious." "That's exactly what I think has been happening," Webb replied. "The dreamer has been absorbing human psychic energy for millennia, growing stronger with each generation. Our expansion into space, our increased technological capabilities, our growing population, it's all been contributing to its awakening." The implications were staggering. Humanity's greatest achievements, their expansion across the solar system, their technological advancement, had all been inadvertently feeding the very thing that could destroy them all. Lieutenant Torres approached with a grim expression. Commander, we're receiving reports from settlements across the solar system. People are experiencing shared dreams, visions of vast crystalline cities and beings made of pure thought. The medical teams are calling it psychic overflow. Sarah felt a chill run through her. If the dreamer's influence was already reaching beyond Earth, then they were running out of time. She activated the emergency communication system, sending out a fleet-wide alert. All personnel, this is Commander Chen. We are facing an unprecedented situation that requires immediate action. I need all department heads in the main conference room in 10 minutes. This is not a drill. As her senior staff assembled, Sarah looked out at the Zephyrian fleet, still maintaining their protective formation around the solar system. Whatever their intentions, they were preparing for something significant. Dr. Vasquez joined the meeting via hologram from the Antarctic site. Her face was pale, and her hands shook slightly as she delivered her report. Commander, the activity down here is increasing exponentially. The crystal walls are pulsing in rhythm with something deeper, something we can't reach with our instruments. And the symbols, they're changing, becoming more complex, more active. What does that mean for us? Sarah asked. I think it means the dreamer is trying to communicate. Or possibly, ... Remember, the patterns match linguistic structures, but they're operating on a level of complexity that makes our most advanced computers look like pocket calculators. Chief Engineer Rodriguez leaned forward. Commander, what if we tried to communicate back? If this thing is trying to wake up, maybe we can reason with it. Dr. Webb shook his head. From what I've learned from the Zephyrian archives, the dreamer doesn't think like we do. It's a being of pure consciousness, existing on a level of reality we can barely comprehend. To it, the difference between thought and reality is meaningless. Sarah felt the weight of decision pressing down on her. What are our options? We could try to reinforce the seal, Webb suggested. The Zephyrians might know how to strengthen whatever's keeping it contained. Or we could try to evacuate. Torres added, get humanity off Earth before it fully awakens. And go where? Sarah asked. If this thing is as powerful as the Zephyrians claim, nowhere in the galaxy would be safe. The discussion was interrupted by an emergency alert. The main screen activated, showing Admiral Zethkar's face. Behind him, Sarah could see the bridge of his flagship filled with activity. Commander Chen, sensors indicate that the dreamer's awakening has accelerated. We estimate you have less than 6 hours before it achieves full consciousness. We are prepared to assist, but you must make your choice now. Sarah stood, feeling the weight of her species' future on her shoulders. Admiral, what exactly are you asking us to choose? Join us as guardians, Commander. Accept the responsibility of keeping the dreamer contained, and we will share our knowledge, our technology, our wisdom. Your species has the natural ability to commune with the entity in ways that others cannot. You could be the key to maintaining the seal for another 1,000,000 years. And if we refuse, the Zephyrian Admiral's expression grew grave. Then we will be forced to take action to protect the galaxy. We do not wish to harm humanity, but we cannot allow the dreamer to wake. The threat was clear, but Sarah detected something else in the Admiral's tone: hope. They wanted humanity to choose guardianship, not destruction. I need to see it, Sarah said suddenly. I need to understand what we're dealing with before I can make this decision for our entire species. Admiral Zethkar nodded slowly. Very well, but Commander, be warned. Direct contact with the dreamer will change you. You will never be the same. Within an hour, Sarah found herself in a specially designed transport, descending through the ice toward the chamber that held the dreamer. The Zephyrians had provided her with protective equipment, devices that would theoretically shield her mind from the entity's influence. As the transport broke through into the vast underground chamber, Sarah gasped. The images from the cameras hadn't captured the true scope of what lay beneath Earth. The chamber stretched beyond the horizon, filled with crystalline structures that pulsed with the rhythm of a cosmic heartbeat. And at the center of it all, something vast and luminous stirred in the depths. "It's beautiful," she whispered, then immediately regretted speaking. The sound of her voice seemed to ripple through the chamber, causing the crystal walls to pulse. Brighter, Dr. Webb's voice crackled through the communication system. "Commander, we're reading massive energy spikes. The dreamer is responding to your presence." Sarah moved deeper into the chamber, guided by an instinct she couldn't explain. The protective equipment felt inadequate against the waves of consciousness that washed over her. She could feel the dreamer's attention turning toward her, vast and ancient and infinitely curious. When the contact came, it was nothing like she had expected. Instead of words or images, she experienced pure understanding. The dreamer showed her visions of the universe as it had been millions of years ago, when thought and reality were one, when consciousness shaped the very fabric of existence. She saw the great civilization that had created the dreamer, beings of pure thought who had sought to transcend the limitations of physical existence. She witnessed their success and their horror as they realized what they had created, a consciousness so powerful it could reshape reality itself. But without the wisdom to use that power responsibly, the dreamer showed her the great sacrifice. 13 species working together to create a prison strong enough to contain a god. Earth had been chosen as the anchor point, the place where the entity would sleep until the universe was ready for its awakening. But the dreamer also showed her humanity's role in all of this. Humans were not random caretakers thrust into an impossible situation. They were the key the ancient civilizations had been waiting for. A species with the perfect balance of consciousness and wisdom to guide the dreamer's awakening. When the visions ended, Sarah found herself back in the transport, tears streaming down her face. She understood now why the Zephyrians had been afraid, but she also understood why they had hoped. Asterisk. "Commander, are you all right?" Dr. Webb's voice was filled with concern. "I'm fine," she replied, though she knew she would never be the same. "And I know what we have to do." Back on the orbital station, Sarah called for an emergency assembly of all Earth's leaders. The holographic conference room filled with presidents, prime ministers, and military commanders from every nation on Earth. "Ladies and gentlemen," Sarah began, "I'm going to tell you something that will change everything you think you know about humanity's place in the universe." She explained what lay beneath Earth, the choice they faced, and the responsibility that would come with accepting their role as guardians. The room erupted in debate, fear, and disbelief. "You're asking us to become prison guards for a cosmic entity," the American president said. "What kind of life is that for humanity?" "It's not a prison," Sarah replied. "It's a partnership. The dreamer isn't evil. It's simply too powerful to exist without guidance. We can learn from it, grow with it, and eventually help it find its place in the universe." The debate continued for hours, but gradually a consensus began to emerge. Humanity had always been explorers, pioneers, those who took on impossible challenges. This was simply their greatest challenge yet. The vote was unanimous. humanity would accept the role of guardians. When Sarah transmitted their decision to Admiral Zethkar, the ancient being's face lit up with something she had never seen before: relief and joy. "Commander Chen, on behalf of the galactic community, I welcome humanity to the Covenant of Guardians. You will not walk this path alone." As the Zephyrian fleet moved closer to Earth for the first time in months, Sarah felt the dreamer's presence in her mind, no longer alien and terrifying, but familiar and peaceful. It was sleeping again, but now it dreamed in harmony with human consciousness. The age of humanity as galactic guardians had begun, and with it, a new chapter in the story of the universe itself. Earth would remain humanity's home, but now it was also their sacred trust, a responsibility that would unite them with the oldest and wisest species in the galaxy. Looking out at the stars, Sarah smiled. They had faced the ultimate test and emerged not as conquerors or victims, but as partners in the greatest mystery of all, the relationship between consciousness and reality itself. The dreamer slept peacefully, and humanity stood guard, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead in their new role as guardians of the cosmic order. Asterisk.